Diane freaks out over an unknown visitor, and Victoria has words with Chelsea. As seen on today's episode of The Young and the Restless, as Jack probes and Alana tells Nate they need space, Phyllis keeps Diane off guard. The three of them are at Jabot when Jack runs into Phyllis and Diane. Phyllis makes fun of Diane since she brought a gift basket to work for her superiors. Everyone in the group is aware that she is not a generous person. Since they've decided to turn over a new leaf, Diane says that the basket is for Phyllis. Jack shoots Diane a glance, and Phyllis accepts it. To regain her love and acceptance, Diane must first earn it back. Phyllis is amazed that she arrived with the basket just as Jack was leaving the office. This is not a subtle remark. Diane delivers a talk about the chance they've been given. Phyllis points out that her outburst almost cost her job. She has no idea why she did that, but she assumes she saw Victor and was concerned about Nikki finding out about something in Los Angeles. Phyllis then inquires as to why she left the gathering so soon, appearing to sneak out undetected. Noah wakes up and tells Allie she is beautiful as they are still in bed together. She demands to know why he didn't inform her of the current time, as she must immediately report to work. He has no immediate plans to release her. They hang out together and chat about his club. To Allie's mind, his opening of the nightclub was an important gesture. For his part, he's glad she showed up. I care deeply about you. When they kiss, she quickly pulls away. As the saying goes, I have to go. In order to avoid waiting the entire workday to see her again, he has proposed that they go out for coffee during her break. When Billy walks into the office, Lily immediately asks whether he is fine. He says that dealing with Johnny was more difficult than he had anticipated, and he wonders what he was missing. She fills him in on what went down during the meeting with Audra and explains that Devin is concerned that he isn't giving the project his all because she didn't feel it was her place to tell him about Johnny. She is worried and wants to know what took place. Billy reveals to her that Johnny was wounded and angry because other people had found out the truth. Lily is sympathetic to the grown-ups' need to inform him, but she thinks the focus was off of him and more on themselves. I can only imagine how unsettling it must have been for him to have to deal with all that information all at once. Billy is concerned that he didn't make the best choice and was too easily persuaded by Chelsea, who may be attempting to figure out a way to be his mom. Given that she wanted to visit him and be there for him the moment she found out, Victoria forewarned Billy of the possibility of this happening, and he would have been wise to heed her advice. Lily speculates that Chelsea will give it some thought and back down. All Billy can think about is how much pain his son is in and how to make it go away. When Lily found out about Malcolm, she was devastated and furious. She had always thought of Neil as a father figure. Billy promises that he will do all it takes to keep Johnny safe. When Nate visits Victoria at work, he reports that everything is running nicely and nobody has any suspicions. It was as simple as his not having any sort of viewpoint at all. He claims that their meeting with Chancellor's agent, Audra Charles, solidified her desire to make her public status known. Nate was impressed, but Victoria thinks it's unwise to bring in an outsider. Victoria cautions him to be vigilant, as he is entrusting this woman with the future of the company as well as her own and her husband's. Inquiringly, "Are you sure this is what you want to do?" she presses more. Nate is confused as to whether or not she feels he is incapable of leading Chancellor Winters. Summer and Kyle are joking around in the Abbott mansion about sleeping in and discussing the upcoming vow renewal ceremony. As Allie and Noah walk in, they lock lips. They express their appreciation for yesterday night and assure him that his club will do well. Victoria reassures Nate she's not backing out of their contract and that she thinks Chancellor will thrive under his leadership during their meeting at Newman. Nate has completed all of the required formalities to sell his shares to Newman and is perplexed as to why she is now having second thoughts. He must be ready to withstand the fury of his family if they learn of his betrayal, Victoria cautions. Nate retorts that he is merely laying the groundwork to demonstrate his worth and present a novel approach that will be to their mutual benefit. I don't see how that could possibly be a betrayal. Diane claims she left the party early because she was exhausted, but this is strongly refuted by her co-workers at Jabot. There's no convincing Phyllis. Diane wants to know what it is that will convince her to like her again. Nikki texts her at that very moment to tell her about some interesting developments in Los Angeles and to ask that Diane be kept distracted and off guard because this might be major. As far as Phyllis is concerned, Diane can do nothing to change her decision. Jack encourages the brunette to make a little donation. It's interrupted by Phyllis, who says, "You didn't let me finish." She tells Diane that the basket is tacky, and that she is weary of the two of them squabbling all the time. Diane has a hard time believing it because she appears to like it. If Kyle and Jack can get over her deceit and treachery, Phyllis thinks she can too. After welcoming Diane with an embrace, Phyllis welcomes Kyle and Summer into the room, where she has just announced that she will meet her halfway. "Let's find a way to make this work, Diane, okay?" Phyllis says softly in Diane's ear. Diane resists breaking off of the embrace, so Summer requests to talk to her mom in Jack's office. Phyllis claims she gave it her all outside and then did her best once she got inside. Summer hugs her and says, "I could tell that you were truly trying, and that means so much to me." The events of the previous day served as a wake-up call, according to Phyllis. She must overcome these feelings or else she would never be happy. Everyone has moved on, including Summer, Jack, and Kyle. She has no reason to believe that Diane has changed, but she also can't continue to hold these negative thoughts about her. If she's incorrect, that's great news for them as a family. If she's right, well, secrets have a way of getting out, and she won't have to do a thing anyhow. While sitting on the terrace of Crimson Lights, Noah reveals to Allie that he never imagined he could feel this content with another person. His past relationships have been fraught with ups and downs, with him constantly doubting the other person's feelings and trying to earn the other person's favor. After hearing this, Allie inquires, "Are you trying to say that we're too easy?" Audra sees Victoria inside, introduces herself, and says Newman Enterprises appears to be headed in a bigger, better path with Victoria at the helm. Chelsea shows up at Chancellor Winters to express her gratitude to Billy once more. He tells her he's having second thoughts about telling Johnny the truth. All Chelsea wants is to go forward constructively. She agrees with Billy that Johnny is not yet ready to let her into his life, but she hopes Billy will still do something nice for Johnny. During her pregnancy with Johnny, she went out and bought this blanket for him. But Billy isn't sure if now is the best time. Chelsea is determined to prove to him that she hasn't stopped fantasizing about him. She doesn't mean any harm and is simply glad to be part of his support system. And that's something I think it's important he understand. Lily wants to see the quilt. Billy assures Chelsea that he is aware of her good intentions, but that her actions are unacceptable. Even though Johnny doesn't want to be in this position, he will have to make the calls. He tells her that he doesn't mean to be critical, but that she's crossing a line. Don't give anyone any more unexpected presents. It will be up to Johnny to initiate contact with either her or Connor. Until he makes that move, she should back off. After placing the blanket in a bag, Lily reassures her that she is not alone in this and that she will get through it. Victoria inquires as to the nature of Audra's consulting work at Crimson Lights. For reasons of confidentiality, she cannot say more. Naturally, Victoria apologizes. Audra plans to make the most of her time in town and would welcome the opportunity to meet for lunch. Jack, Kyle, and Diane think about their agreement with Phyllis as they sit around the table at Society. As Kyle leaves to take a call, Diane expresses her appreciation to Jack for his impartiality. Kyle heads out to a business meeting. After Phyllis mentioned that Nikki was in Los Angeles, Jack questioned Diane on the subject. "Is there something we don't know about?" Diane says she has no idea how Nikki's trip relates to her. According to what Kyle mentioned, Jack reveals Nikki went to retrieve Summer's dress. Diane is relieved and happy by today's events with Phyllis. Jack hopes as much. He's worn out from it almost as much as she has. Outside on the Crimson Lights patio, Noah jokes with Allie about how easy their relationship is. He can relax and be himself in her company without fear of retaliation. What he really wants is for her to agree with him. Indeed, she does. The topic shifts to organizing a club after-party for Summer and Kyle's wedding vow renewal. As Noah points out, this will be the couple's second time attending a wedding together. After a passionate kiss, Allie excuses herself to return to the office. The apparition of Chelsea in Victoria's workplace. "Not now," the brunette warns her. It is with regret that Chelsea learns of the unfortunate turn of events. Once the first shock wears off, she hopes Johnny would want her back. In concert, they may be able to convince him to change his mind. Victoria looks at her in a curious manner. When Nate gets home, he says Alana has been avoiding him. Until he accepts her guidance, she refuses to communicate with him. What exactly does he expect Elena to accomplish if she can't voice an opinion and can't be left alone? Nate merely asks that she make an effort to comprehend his perspective and the need of his actions. Elena insists that he is under no need to take any action, suggesting instead that he resign from the company or simply take things more slowly in order to learn the ropes. Nate doesn't see any point in playing things safe when he has the capacity for great ideas, strong leadership, and the ability to put them into action. Elena is sorry, but she doesn't see how he can be so confident in his abilities. What has he actually accomplished? The reason I can't do anything is because Devon won't let me, Nate replies. It's his own business, according to Elena. That decision is up to him. He doesn't want to give it any more time and instead wants to harm Devon and everyone else who may be involved. Asked specifically, who exactly is being hurt? By Nate. She rattles off names like Lily, Jill, and Billy, and now it's her turn. It's not just about the money here. This is personal. In other words, he's not the one she fell in love with. As your current self, I'm not sure I can take it. What is she saying? He inquires. Elena is of the opinion that they need space. At Chancellor, Billy tells Lily that he's having a tough day but that he'll be well soon. The way he's dealing with it, according to Lily, is excellent. They can only move on with a positive attitude, as they can do nothing to change the past. She understands that he is quite tired from trying to sort everything out and take care of everyone. It's fine if he needs to step away or air his grievances. Now that Victoria is enrolled at Newman, she is subjected to a constant barrage of Chelsea's demands, which is inevitable. Although Billy has made it clear that Johnny wants nothing to do with you, you're still trying to insert yourself into Johnny's life, to which I respond, you're trying to weasel your way into my son's life. Chelsea claims that Johnny is a child who can't articulate his desires. I assumed he was old enough to know the truth, so which is it? Victoria scoffs. No one will be encouraging Johnny, Victoria tells her. He doesn't have to force himself into a relationship if he doesn't want to. Chelsea likewise loves him and wants nothing more than for him to be receptive to learning about himself in full. That's why Victoria had to tell her that she signed over all ownership to Johnny. It's his life, and he gets to make his own choices. She really, really, really hopes she's not attempting to sway his opinion. I am the only mother he's ever known, and I will not allow this to happen. Chelsea leaves the room. Here at Jabot, Kyle and Summer discuss Diane and Phyllis. The harmony between their mothers is a wonderful boon as they prepare to repeat their wedding vows. Currently, there is nothing that can stop them from having a party. While Jack and Diane are picking up their takeaway order at Society, Diane receives the text, "Arrived in GC. A hasty gathering is in order." Is Jack asking whether everything is okay? Diane claims everything is okay, but she has to leave immediately. As she walks away, Jack stares. Diane appears to be in a state of panic as she rushes outside.